Hey there, it's Poul Mark coming to you with the 11th edition of our Transcend Video Podcast. 11sies. It's that time of the year. It's November, or Movember, like we like to call it around here at Transcend. You can see the unshaved look that's developing on my face, as most of the guys at Transcend are actually participating this year in Movember, raising funds for prostate cancer. So I would love it if you would go online, go to Team Transcend's website for Movember, and throw us a few bucks, and let's help try to figure out how to beat prostate cancer. It's also Remembrance Day in a couple of days, and so the poppy hopefully is evident of what we should all be doing and remembering those that went before us. As I promised last episode, we're going to talk about coffee today, and just coffee. That's not true. Not just coffee. We're going to talk about coffee and one of the guys that I know that grows coffee. I had the distinct pleasure this year to travel to Costa Rica, and while I was in Costa Rica, I got to meet some amazing farmers. One of the guys that I met that I connected really well with is a fellow by the name of Tim OBrien, and part of the reason I connected really well with him is because he's American. He had moved down to Costa Rica to first with the Peace Corps in the 90s, and then later to go down and start doing some coffee farming in 2000. But so obviously for me it was a great experience to meet someone on the ground in Costa Rica, growing coffee, passionately growing coffee, with whom I could speak fluently and intelligently with. It's one of my greatest frustrations going down to OBrien, actually, is that I really just don't have any mastery over Spanish whatsoever, and so it makes it really difficult to communicate and really understand what's going on. But we just had an awesome time with Tim. He took Chad and I around through the West Valley and up to Tarrazú, and one of the highlights of the trip for me was actually getting to go to Tim's farm. He has some coffee planted at some very high elevations in Costa Rica, and when he first bought that land, he was told by the locals that coffee wouldn't grow that high. And I think with global warming, we were starting to see a change in the environment, a change in the microclimates throughout Costa Rica and other places where coffee grows. And as a result, the coffee that's growing on Tim's farms and the neighboring farms of some of his neighbors is simply amazing, outstanding. We're going to talk today about the Cafetín de San Martin. It's a coffee that's grown by Tim and his neighbors. And Cafetín just in Spanish means coffee Tim. Kind of funny story. Tim said that they don't say Tim real well in terms of Spanish. They call him Teen. So that's how the name came about. They call it Cafetín, Tim's coffee. And it's one of the most amazing coffees we've had this year. This coffee was picked especially for Transcend Coffee, and it was picked at around 1,850 meters above sea level. So a very high grown coffee, and a coffee that takes a long time to ripen up at that elevation. As a result, a lot of character and a lot of complexity in the fruit, and as a result of that, also a lot of complexity and character and just yumminess in the cup. And so, what else can I say? I want to talk a little bit just about the passion that Tim has in terms of growing coffee down in Costa Rica. In fact, Tim is no longer in Costa Rica. He moved his family back to the United States, and he's now working with Cafe Imports to try to develop their special high-end specialty coffee offerings even develop that more than it is currently right now. And so that's great. It's great to have Tim back in North America, and it's also great to know that he's still sticking with his farm down in Costa Rica, and we're excited about that. I really want to get down next year if I can and even do a little planting on his farm and spend some more time there, because it's just such an educational thing for me, and as well, it's such a beautiful place to be. What makes, I think, Tim's coffee so exceptional is he really does care, and he's so passionate about what he's doing, and he works really hard with his neighbors and with those who pick the coffee to ensure that coffee is picked ripe. And then they do what every great farmer does in terms of coffee. They sort meticulously and make sure that what is processed and what is ultimately shipped to us, the roaster, is only the coffee that was fully developed, fully mature, fully ripened, and has that deep character in terms of sweetness and acidity and balance. And so that's what makes Tim's coffee just quite amazing. Tim, as I said, the region is the Tarrazú around San San Martin, and a little town out there, and it's pretty remote actually. Tim, when he first went to Costa Rica, says that he was sort of sent out there by the Peace Corps, and there were sort of no phones and no connections. He was out there for a couple of years, and he really got to know the farmers in that area. He wasn't specifically sent there to work with coffee. I think if I remember correctly, he was sent there to sort of help them grow better green peppers, agricultural in general. But when he was there, he actually got immersed in the culture, immersed with the people, and he developed their trust, and he became part of that community. And when he went back to Costa Rica, he didn't go back with the intention of starting to farm or own a coffee farm. He went back with the intention of finding and providing his friends with a small micro mill so that they could process their own coffee. Because one of the things that was frustrating him was that his friends, his farmers, the farmers that he worked with and got to know, they were not able to get their exceptional coffee out to the marketplace. It was being purchased by larger mills and blended into mediocrity. And in all honesty, I used to not like Costa Rican coffee much at all. And it wasn't until I met Francisco Mena in Panama last year, and he started to tell me about the exceptional coffees in Costa Rica, and he urged me and invited me to come to Costa Rica and meet the farmers and experience the amazing quality that exists in Costa Rica. And we had that opportunity this spring where we went, and we were blown away by the level of quality that we experienced. There are so many small little farms scattered throughout Costa Rica who are passionately growing coffee, who are creating amazing quality and doing it with dedication and earnesty. And for the first time, I think, in the history of Costa Rica, and I could be wrong, but I think for the first time in Costa Rica, there are now avenues for these small farmers to export their coffee directly to us, a roaster. And that direct trade relationship stream is now open and available. And as a result, we're seeing the best coffees, I think, that Costa Rica, on the marketplace that Costa Rica has ever offered, at least that I've ever tasted. All right, so, and the other thing I just wanted to say really quickly in terms of brewing this coffee, obviously I've brewed it on the clover. You don't have a clover at home, obviously. If you do, good for you. The tech toy of the year for those that love coffee. But this coffee tastes amazing in a Chemex or in a pour over or a French press as well. So by no means is a clover something that is required to enjoy this coffee to its fullest. So that's the other point I wanted to make right up front, is that this is something that you can enjoy at home with little or no investment other than just having a French press, or for that matter a pour over. That'll work just as well. So in the cup we get a nice medium to full bodied, rounded, tasty mouth of goodness. Our label, we've labeled this just so I'll just read it just so it's consistent with what we've talked about. We describe this coffee as intense caramel, sweet nuts, and praline, rounding out with a sweet red fruit and stone fruit acidity. So it's got some really nice acidity. Costa Ricans tend to have that nice bright acidity. It's been roasted into a nice balanced state. There's a lot of fruit. There is that nuttiness, that sweet nuttiness that's there. Not peanut by any stretch of the imagination, which is maybe a bit more Brazilian, but this is just a delightful, tasty cup of coffee that will satisfy you no matter when you drink it, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, or if you're one of those people that can drink coffee into the evening, then what better way to end the day than to have a cup of Cafetín in your hands. All right, that's it for me now. Once again, please log on and throw us a few bones to support Movember this month, the month of November. In 2 weeks, you'll see me with a much more robust facial hair. So until then, cheers, enjoy coffee, drink less more often.